Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are a lively crowd today, and if you haven't noticed the groaning table for potluck, I am really excited. So, greetings to everyone who is here in our sanctuary at the Metro East Unitarian Universalist Congregation, and greetings to those of you who will be watching this remotely, whether live or recorded later. We are a welcoming religious community, and we are so glad that you are here today. I'm Reverend Dr. Claudia Hall. My pronouns are she or they, and I am delighted and have been delighted for the last 5 years to be able to serve this congregation as the minister. It is so good to see you all here today, both new friends, longtime members, returning folks, and I hope that you will all take time in coffee hour. We do have several visitors today. I hope you'll reach out to somebody new and say hello and offer them our warm welcome. We do welcome everyone this morning in search of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope, for we are Unitarian Universalists. An important ritual in our Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of our chalice. We have many different interpretations of the chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. If you're watching elsewhere and you have a chalice or candle, now is the time to light it, and I invite us all to join together in saying the unison words projected on our screen. We light this chalice in hope for the future of our church, our community, our country, and our world. May love center us always. Will you join me as you're willing and able in a spirit of prayer and meditation? Spirit of endless changes, we gather today to give witness to yet more change within this congregation. New board, new ministerial leadership, new ministries, and yet the same bedrock foundation, the commitments to love and justice, to inclusion and hope that have kept us going for almost 200 years. May each of us take heart in the midst of this uncertainty, in the deep knowing that through all that changes, our values, our vision, and our purpose is just as vital and just as needed as it has ever been. May we each feel empowered to continue the literally life-saving work of this church that we each do both here on Sunday and throughout the week, every time we live out our values in a society that seemingly is designed to be the exact opposite of what we envision as heaven on earth. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you all to take a moment this morning and greet somebody that you don't know as well and make a new connection, and then we'll start to sing our first hymn. Our first hymn this morning is number 170. We are a gentle, angry people. It's a tradition here at the Metro East Unitarian Universalist congregation that we put each service within the larger values that we as Unitarian Universalists hold dear. This month, we've been lifting up the theme of inclusion, and today, specifically, I'm lifting up the value of democracy, which is a part of interdependence. Democracy is when all people have a voice at the table, not just the billionaires who can buy their way into the seats of power. Democracy is when all people not only have a voice at the table, but have an equal voice at the table, and the wishes of the people are respected, not immediately torn apart by so-called leaders elected to represent them. For those of us who live in the state of Missouri, the legislature cannot be bothered to fix a few things. For example, did you know that in the state of Missouri, if you call to initiate SNAP benefits for food or to get Medicaid for your child who is sick or ill, you may have to wait somewhere between 30 to 45 hours on the phone. Yeah, that's how long. Oh, and the phone tends to disconnect you after about 45 minutes. So then you have to call again. But the legislature can't be bothered to actually hire enough people to properly staff these lines, but they can absolutely take 95% of the legislature's time to overturn the will of the people when it comes to paid sick leave and giving women rights to their own bodies, which is what they spent the entire legislative session this year doing. That, my friends, is not democracy. Here in our congregation, we take democracy seriously, and we've had some hard choices lately. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, we're looking for a building. I know that's news to a few of you, but you know, it's been really hard, right? It's been a really difficult thing. And when we decided to take a vote on whether or not we were going to put an offer on the VFW building, it came down to one vote. So that means that half the people in this room are not happy, right? That's how voting works, right? Like, not everybody's thrilled about how these things happen. But the way it works is that our board is not the Missouri legislature, so they don't look at this vote and go, oh, well, the people didn't actually know what they were talking about, so we're just going to do what we think is best. Democracy in our system says every person who's a voting member of our church got an equal say. And when we reached the threshold, according to the bylaws, we stopped and we said, okay, that's the will of the people. We're going to move on. Now, not everybody's happy about that because in a democracy, somebody's upset sometime. Like, that's how it works. But the thing is that we respect the process. You know, we're not going to agree. That's something we've forgotten about in this democracy of ours, is that we don't always have to agree on the particulars to agree on the ideals. And since today's my last Sunday, I get to really give y'all a lot of soapbox. Yes. And so, you know, it's not about the particulars. It is not about what building you meet under. There are churches in Africa that meet under trees, and they have thousands of people, and they make it work. How do they make it work? Because they share an ideal, okay? Because they share values, because they know that what they have to offer the people around them is life-changing and life-giving and life-affirming. And my friends, we are that people. There are entire communities of people who are being so oppressed, it is beyond ridiculous right now. If you are a person with a disability in this country and you are not scared, you have hidden under a rock, okay? As someone who is watching every day the erosion of my ability to exist on so many fronts, right? Your gender, your sexuality, your ability level, like all these things, I'm just like, holy cow, do I even exist as a human being? And then we talk about birthright citizenship. Like, is there one of us who is somehow a citizen that wasn't, born here and became a citizen? Like, how does this work if they get rid of that? I'm a little confused. Are we going to have to, start applying and paying money? That's kind of how they're making it sound, right? Like, well, you're only a citizen if your parents were citizens. Okay, but my parents were citizens because they were born here and became citizens. So, how far back do we go? Because if you go back far enough, the only people that deserve to be citizens are our Native American folks who we've, treated like garbage for 300-something years. More, 500 years, really, since the white folks came over here. 1492, when we hosed over the Jews, and now we're going to hose over the indigenous folks. Like, let's just keep doing it, That's how it works in colonial empires. Spain is just one more of many. So how do we do this? Well, in UU churches, we can't fix the global government. We're a small movement. But what we can do is we can hold out our values in action. We can say, this is our ideal. Our ideal is to have a building that's going to be functional, that's not going to fall down around our ears, that's going to enable us to give the community a place to be safe. Because so many of the folks that we are not safe right now. And as long as you hold that ideal in front of you, it'll work out. I really do believe that. Let your conscience guide you, and respect that another's conscience is going to guide them, and it might be in two different directions, because none of you are the same people, but we do share the same ideals. Amen, and blessed be. I'm going to do my best to get through today without crying. This has got to have been my favorite part of the service, because I love seeing people joining together as one. There is always a moment in a service where people are distracted, where people are thinking about what's going on in their own head, where people are looking forward to what they have to do after church, and you've just not got them, right? When you stand up here and you're looking out at a crowd, and I don't care if it's 5 people or 1,000 people, I've seen it all happen. You know people are just not with you. Joys and concerns, though, at least for this community, everybody's with you. And that's because this is the moment in our service where we really are one community, where we come together and we say, it doesn't matter if it's, I've had a horrific week, I'm scared about this country, someone I love is sick or injured, I'm sick or injured. Or the opposite. I'm so excited because I got a new job, someone I love is graduating, someone I care about is having something wonderful happen in their life, new babies, new friends, new puppies, new all the things. Whatever it is, these moments of joys and concerns bring us together as one. And for me to be able to hold this bowl that represents so many hopes and dreams and fears and worries, and to be part of that with you for the last 5 years in various ways has been my deep honor. And so today I invite all of you, in whatever way you wish, to come forward with your joys, your concerns, your sorrows. We're going to come forward, process around, take one stone, or many. We've emptied out most of them, so we have extras. And we'll put them in the bowl of water, and then we'll go back to the back. For those of us with mobility challenges, I know it can be hard to get around in the sanctuary, so just raise your hand, and others will place stones for you, because we are one community, and we care for one another. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. So our children's time this morning is a really cute story called Evelyn Del Rey is Moving Away. And did you see my note to cut it at 4:45? Okay, so you can cut it at 4:45. Maybe. All right. You don't have to. It's just more of the subscribe stuff.
Because I can't see the time.
Oh. I'll stand.
Evelyn Del Rey is Moving Away. Written by Meg Medina. Illustrated by Sonia Sanchez. Evelyn Del Rey is my mejor amiga, my numero uno best friend. Come play, Daniela, she says, just like she always does. Just like today is any other day. So I bundle up and cross the street. A big truck with its mouth wide open is parked at the curb, ready to gobble up Evelyn's mirror with the stickers around the edge, her easel for painting on rainy days, and the sofa that we bounce on to get to the moon. She is waiting for me inside the iron doors. Then we climb the steps 2 at a time, just like we always do. We sneak past grouchy Mr. Miller's door and wave to Mr. Sue, who's feeding pigeons from the hall window. Senora Flores gives us each a cookie and says, "It's the big day," when we walk by. Our apartments are almost twins, just like us. That's why I already knew all the good places for hide and seek, and the spot behind the heater where we keep our special finds. But the walls in Evelyn's room are sunny yellow, while mine are pink like cotton candy. And I live with my mommy and a hamster, and she has a mommy, a puppy, and a cat. We are mostly the same, just like our apartments. But not after today. We find a still empty box near the door. In no time, I am a bus driver steering us all over the city. We play until the tables that were bus stops are gone, and the beds that were skyscrapers have vanished too. When we look around, everything has disappeared except us. Soon, the truck outside rumbles off, and there is a knock on the door. "Hide," we say, giggling, just like we always do. But our mothers see us before we can slip away. "Time to go," Mommy says. Evelyn and I hold hands in the wide, empty space. We lean back and start to spin in circles, faster and faster, until everything is a blur around us. Our fingers slip, but we don't let go until we wobble to the floor. "We can talk every day after school," I tell her, though the world is still whirling. "And you can visit me this summer," she says, "and spend the night." But I know that tomorrow, everything will be different. Evelyn will be in a new home that doesn't match mine. Before we leave, I spot something in the corner, left behind in the dust. It's the last of Evelyn's sparkly stickers. We go downstairs, and I press a heart on her cheek to seal our promise. Then she does mine, just the same. We say, "Patata," while Mommy takes a photo. We do our secret handshake one more time. And then Evelyn hugs me hard. Evelyn Del Rey is moving away, so she won't be right here anymore. Mommy says not to be sad, that we will both make new friends. But when Evelyn waves one last time, the sticker still on her cheeks, I know she will always be my first mejor amiga, my numero uno best friend. The one I will always know by heart. Hey friends, it's me, Miss.
Kid stained? You're going. All right. We're going to sing our kids out this morning. As you journey, as you journey, may you go, may you know. Love and hope go with you, love and hope go with you. Learn and grow, learn and grow. Our next hymn is in the gray hymnal or on the wall. It's number 325, Love Makes a Bridge. Maybe.
Love makes a bridge from heart to heart and hand to hand. Love finds a way when laws are blind and freedom banned. Love breaks the walls of language, gender, class, and age. Love gives us wings to slip the bars of every cage. Love lifts the hopes that force and fear have beaten down. Love breaks the chains and gives us strength to stand our ground. Love rings the bells of every birth and wedding day. Love guides the hands that promise more than words can say. Love makes a bridge that winds may shake yet not destroy. Love carries faith through life and death to endless joy.
Well, good morning again. So this was the original title. Ignore it. This was a really hard sermon to write. They always are, because goodbye is not my favorite word by any means. And yet it always happens when you're a minister, because this is not your final destination. And so at some point when you're with a congregation, there comes a day when it's the end. And the end is here. I feel like today is my one day of being a fundamentalist preacher. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. So as the moving boxes have stacked up and the heat has rolled in, it is definitely time for me to be heading to more heart-friendly, at least for me, climate. But as I'm sitting there trying to write this, it's like, how do I even begin to talk about everything we've been through together? The last 5 years have been so much. And how can I reflect on that in a 15-minute sermon and give you all like an adequate amount of love and respect and hope and farewell and, give you all the joy that I think you deserve and that you have earned and that I want for you? Promise the abundance and the hope and the ministry that I feel you all, each and every one of you, manifest in this world every day. And do it in a way that you're going to leave this place inspired and do it in a way that I'm not going to break down bawling, which means I'm not going to look at most of you now. So, it's hard. And before you panic too much, yes, Eden has been very kind, and I get to guest preach, as often as I want. So thank you all for that, for letting me have that. The bad old days were that when a minister left, it was like, boom, you're done. You're not allowed to talk to your parishioners. It was like a restraining order. Like, you weren't allowed to talk to your parishioners. You weren't allowed to email your parishioners. You weren't allowed to have anything to do with anybody ever again. And over the years, what we have learned is that's pretty harsh. It's hard because we've been through a lot together. And now that I'm leaving as your minister, many of you are going to transition with me into a new relationship, right? Like, we get to be friends now, because it's not appropriate for me to be your counselor and your friend. Like, I think we all know those boundaries are good, and we need to have the separation. But now that I'm not, we can be. And that's fine. The only thing you can't do, as I was telling somebody earlier, I said, you can't tell me that Eden's doing a bad job because I won't listen to you. Right? Like, that's the thing you can't do. You can't ditch to me about the new person, whoever he, she, or they may ever be. But beyond that boundary, like, I want to know, I want to know how life is. I want to hear about your D&D games. I want to hear about the game nights. I want to hear about your support groups. I want to hear about the mission and the ministry and the building and the things that are going on at the church. I want to send you, postcards from time to time that say, look at where I am in the world. Who knows? It may be somewhere fun. It'll be somewhere cool, I can tell you that. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, so it's kind of goodbye, but it's not fully goodbye, so it's like mostly goodbye. So I'm wondering if that means it's like a Princess Bride sermon that I'm kind of entering into. So like, here's what's happening is it's like a mostly goodbye. So we're going to go out there at the potluck and we're going to have some MLTs, it'll be great. No? I can tell who's watched the movie and who hasn't. Okay. If you haven't seen the Princess Bride movie, you have no concept of what I was just talking about. Moving on. Okay. In all seriousness, I use humor to cushion emotion because it's hard. But this is a time for plain speaking. First and foremost, this last 5 years of ministry with you all has absolutely been the highlight of my career. From the first panicked conversations about embezzlement and COVID and what on earth are we going to do and how can we possibly survive? We have nothing in the bank account. To, would you mind talking on Zoom once in a while to just help us have a service, and how are we going to do that? I was not trained in seminary how to video preach when you can't see an audience. Like, that was a whole new thing we all learned together how to do. All the way through board meetings about broken pipes on Christmas Eve, to stepping back and letting Krista be the minister for a year while I took on RE, to coming forward again, to being the minister as we looked for a new home, as we sold, made that enormous decision. For many of you, you remember the enormity of that and the roller coaster we've been on. There is an old meme that I have seen, and it says, good friends will bail you out of jail. Best friends are right there next to you going, man, that was fun. I feel like this has been a congregation of best friends for a while now, because we have all been through it all. We have been on the wild roller coasters, haven't we? Six Flags got nothing on what we've been doing in the last 5 years at this community. And that's just in-house stuff, right? That's not counting not one but two Cheeto lands that we've been living through. That's not counting the insanity on the Missouri side of the border. That's not counting the fights that we've had to fight just for the basic dignity that we all deserve. But we've also had some incredible fun together. The videos from the Moose drag shows will live in infamy. Pride outings, even though I almost fainted from the heat, were absolutely amazing. Our picnics, as we finally, as UUs across the region, have come together in picnics and services and all the things we've done. Our crafting events, where we filled up the fellowship hall and made these cushions, and they've actually lasted. Pretty awesome. And they were just fun. We just had fun doing it. The game nights, you know, my son just turned 6 and he got some board games for his birthday. And so I'm going to be getting his adopted grandpa a shirt that says, "I'm really sorry for the things I told you during Ticket to Ride." You know, the craft events and the game nights that we have, they bond us, right? Because it's not all sad stuff. We've had some amazing times together. I know that for many of us, some of our very best friends are in this congregation. That is what gets us through a week of working with the homophobes and the transphobes and the Trump lovers and the this and the that and all the things, right? Is the ability to come back here on Sunday and be surrounded by people that are our kind of crazy. People that are good kind of crazy. People that have the passions that we have, the love that we have for the marginalized and those who need us. It has been my honor to be here. The job of the minister, despite what many think, is never to fix things. I wish we could. You know, when you graduate seminary, instead of getting that big fancy stole that they put on you, they should give you a nice little magic wand that you can just wave. And when you wave it, it fixes the problem. That would be amazing. But they don't. Instead, what they do is they put this stole on you to remind you that your job is to walk with people in the hardest times of their life. And it's to walk with you through the things as best we can until you learn to adapt to the weight of the grief you will always carry. It has been my honor to walk with many of you in these times of your life. And when we couldn't walk, we have limped and shuffled and rollered and wheelchaired and scootered together. We have been together in hospitals. We have been together in funeral homes. We have navigated broken hearts. We have navigated prisons. We have been in so many places in our time together. My heart has surged and broken with you again and again. As folks walk through on Sunday, I know many of what these stones represent. And I recall again and again the love that you bring to this place. And I want to hold in my heart the weight of those tears, those swallowed griefs, and those sleepless nights. But I also want to hold in this bowl the new jobs and the new babies, the fun vacations and the bucket list events, the reuniting of those that we thought lost to our congregation who are now among us again, and those that we thought were strange to us who have come back into our lives. All of these things we have weathered together as a community. We have brought casseroles, looked at pictures from vacations, and cheered on the successes of those we love in this place. Because that is who we are, a place of love and hope, a place of inclusion. And unlike many churches where inclusion is only happening when your body is white and perfect and wealthy, this church is more committed to disability inclusion than any other church I have ever seen or worked at, and I am so incredibly proud of you for that fact. I have always been supported in this congregation with my own disabilities, even as they have spiraled and multiplied like the rabbits in my garden. And the way that this congregation has gone out of its way to say over and over and over again, we will not accept a building that cannot accommodate our friends. We will not move to a place where those on walkers and wheelchairs cannot come. This is a stumbling block, you say, and I say to you, may you be blessed. Because the other UU churches in this area are not handicap accessible. They're just not. They're old buildings. And they're not bad people. They've tried, right? Like they've done their best. But those buildings are old, just like Alton was old. And they're not compatible. And what that means is that the older a person gets, or if they're like me and, and they just have things happen, they can't go anymore. And they get isolated, and they get lonely, and they get withdrawn. And it becomes more and more of a problem. We've given up properties because there wasn't a way to make them handicap accessible, and I applaud you for that. Because any church that survives by cutting out an entire class of its devoted members is not a church that's living its values. The way that we have strived to accommodate our neurodiversity in this congregation, we have gone out of our way. I have never seen a congregation as committed to welcoming our folks with autism and ADD and all the other isms and labels that people get slapped with. And we just don't care. We're like, you're you. You're not your labels. You're you. You're the you that you were made. And we love you for who you are. Because you're weird. And that's fine because we're all weird here. And we love that about each other. We all have our unique passions, the things that absolutely fire us up. It's like I should have a shirt that says, ask me about D&D. I will, in fact, talk your ear off for 12 hours. But we all have something that we love. And we all have something that we bring to the table that we want and that we need. And that, my friends, makes us special. This church is also committed to trans inclusion in a way that I have never seen. I really am amazed at the way, again, it's a non-issue, which is huge. Other churches are still, even other liberal churches are still struggling with pronouns. We've had that for so long, we forget that it's a thing elsewhere. And it's not like we have a trans majority church where that's, a mainstay. Most of y'all are, older and straight and cisgender. But you know that inclusion is a core to your values. And so you reach out and you say, let us be who you need. Because you are the folks who are being hurt most by the policies of these angry old white men. Let us help. Let us be a community that embraces you. And when you say these things, when you walk the walk, or in my case, limp the limp. I say that with a laugh, but it's true. Like, not all of us can walk this walk, but you know what? We can shuffle, we can roll, we can limp along, and that's enough. By God, that is enough. And in this church, it is enough. No one is telling me, oh, well, since you can't haul these pews around on Sunday morning, that's just not good enough. There's no cliques and clubs about, well, the top 10 donors of our church get this very special thing every year. I have been in plenty of churches where that was a thing. The more you give, the more events you got to go to. The way to the heart of the fellowship is to be a certain thing, or to do a certain thing, or to be a part of a certain club, clique, whatever you want to call it. We don't do that here. We have no clue who in the congregation is rich or poor or in between, because that's not who we are. Although if you're rich and you want to make a really big pledge to the pledge campaign, Buddy will in fact take it right now. But the thing is, the DNA that attracted me to this church when everything was falling apart, when literally it was like, we don't know if we're going to survive the next quarter. What attracted me to the church was the vision that you all had of, we're going to be a presence for the people who have no voice. Who has no voice in our society? The disabled, the poor, the transgender, the neurodiverse. We want to be a church who is here for the people who have no voice, the elderly, the handicapped. We see ourselves as that church, and that is what drew me to you. Not because you're like, oh yeah, we have a $10 million building campaign. That'd be nice, but that's not what drew me to this church, right? You're up to the state of the art, this, that, the other. That's not what drew me to the church. What drew me to the church was people with a passion for inclusion. And that passion has drawn people to this church, and that passion continues to draw people to this church. We have a shoestring budget. We are not at the top of every, Google search. We are not broadcasting ourselves out there with billions of dollars of advertisements. What are we doing? We're saying, hey, we're here. Every once in a while, somebody trips over us on YouTube, but when they see us, they come. Why is that? Because we live out what we do. We're real. Real crazy, but real. What I've heard over and over and over again in this place is we have to go where our people can be welcome. We have to be where people can get in the building. We have to be welcoming to those who don't fit anywhere else. And you already are. My dear ones, you are. And I love you so much for that. And yet nobody is perfect. And so in addition to my great, immense, and unexpressible gratitude for having walked beside you, in addition to being so very proud of you for living your truth and helping others to live theirs, I couldn't have a sermon where I didn't challenge you, right? I also have a challenge for you as I go. This is my challenge. Love yourselves enough to do the scary things. Accept a less than perfect building. It won't be the perfect place or in the perfect location. But if it's bigger than here and it's yours, take it. Know that change is big and scary and hard, but it has to be done. And it's virtually always better to choose the change than to have the change made for you because you decided not to decide. The most important thing I want to charge you with today is this: love the minister you have, not the one you want. Some of you are going to miss me desperately. Some of you are going to cheer that I am gone. Many of you may not notice or care one way or the other. This is a fact of ministry. Never blame Eden or the board for my leaving. Human-caused climate change and long COVID are to blame for my having to move 500 miles north. Not the board, not Eden, not anything else but an autonomic nervous system that can't cool off properly, and my heart, which is suffering for it. You can't fix my heart. Boy, I wish we could, but we can't. But you can help Eden to grow into an even more incredible minister than they already are. But you must give them a chance. And not just a little chance, but a giant, huge, welcome with open arms kind of chance that is as gracious and welcoming as you gave to me. You have to remember that Eden is not me. He's coming in with an entirely different life, different experiences, and a different set of things that he's contracted to do here. Like I was called here to do a certain set of things, and he's being called here to do a different set of things. So we're operating on two different systems. Also, some of you are going to have the best minister of your life in Eden. Some of you are going to wish he was somewhere else. And others of you won't notice much of a difference between us because that is a fact of ministry. That's how ministry works. Sometimes we're interchangeable. Sometimes we're not. But unless you give him a chance and yourself a chance with them, you will never know what of those scenarios you're going to have. So don't risk losing the best relationship with your minister that you'll ever have by holding back. Love yourself enough to love the new minister wholeheartedly. Risk the church by making scary changes that give you a good enough home to grow. Love Eden and the new ministry that will flourish under his care. And know, each and every one of you, that as I go, I will do as the Apostle Paul said in the letter to the Philippians, I will thank my God every time I remember you. For in all my prayers for all of you, I pray with joy because of your partnership in the good news of our faith. From the first day that we met until now, I am confident of this, that the good work we have started here, you will carry on to completion. Amen, my dearest beloved church, and blessed be. Our final hymn this morning. Our final hymn this morning is 311, Let It Be a Dance. As Jamie passes around our offering basket, I offer a reminder that we're supported only by our giving. For those of you that it's your first time here, you do not need to feel obligated in the slightest. Our service today is our gift to you. For the rest of you, though, you better cough up. Seriously, though, please feel free to take pledge envelopes in there, and if you have not filled out your pledge card yet, please feel free to do so. There's some in there, or you can see Buddy or Nancy or any of us, and we will make sure you can get a pledge card, because we do need to continue to get that going so we can round up our pledge campaign for that. Give what you will, and you are able, for you are a generous people. You join with me in our offering prayer. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. I do not have any announcements on my board other than we're going to have potluck and then meeting. After the meeting, we have to clean everything out of here because the Masons are meeting this afternoon. Yeah.
They're going to be showing up about 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So we're going to have a super short meeting. We're going to truncate some stuff. Alex will explain it all when you get in here for the meeting. But just so you all know, we're actually having to change some stuff up because of that so that we can get this done and get out so the Masons can come in and meet. Okay. What other announcements do I have on my slide? I think that's, yep.
I need to meet with worship associates at some point. So
Okay. All right, so Robin is going to be putting a meeting together for the worship associates. So if you're on that list and need to do things, that's right. All right, the next Goshen Market, Saturday, July 5th. It is so much fun, and everybody that goes out there really enjoys it. It's a great chance to talk to the community about who we are and let folks get to know you. So please, if you can volunteer in the heat and humidity, get out there. They love it. All right, and that is Jennifer Lewis, who is our RE person, so just let her know. Also, we're doing a chicken dinner, so we get to help. We help out the Moose Lodge, and then they give us a chunk of the profits. Our lovely Peg has our sign-up sheet. So, yep, so baked goods, teams of people to help out. Peg will be rounding us up, so she has got that. Anything else? Yep, okay, so there's a conference coming up in July that's kind of a community thing. More information will be coming up. It's the end of July, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much, but that's, I think, everything. All right. Well, I invite you to join with me now in reciting our prayer as we extinguish our chalice. The light of truth and meaning cannot be put out. We are the keepers of its flame until we meet again. May the words of our mouths, the meditations of our hearts, and the votes of our hands bring love and hope to this community and the rest of the world today and every day. May this not be goodbye, but merely until next time. Amen, and blessed be.